And we are back. During the break, we actually got a $20 donation um, by R110 Forever, who says, "Hoi, first time donating to a speedrun marathon. These $20 are for the Wind Waker file name Anime Boy. Has been noted. Thank you so much, R110 Forever." Um, right now we have Calistus running Dustforce DX, and joining him is going to be Vuligin. I'll let you guys take it away whenever you guys are ready.
All right, thank you. I will be playing new game Any Percent Glitched. I know it is not listed as such, but I will be starting off with a very obscure glitch in this game that was found recently. A lot of people are not sure how it works, even within the community, so this will be great. And I will be starting in 3, 2, 1, and go. All right, so the first thing I will be doing is heading up to the level editor. I will not be actually playing any levels yet. And I will be creating a new level titled Anything I Want. I will be, oh, the game appears to have frozen for a moment. I'll be saving, exiting, and returning to the glitch.
Quite possibly the best glitch I've ever seen.
Now I enter advanced tutorial, and there is a frame I can exit on during the death fade, where I will produce a clone in the main nexus, and that is exactly the clone I wanted. There are a couple of variations on it. Here's another one. This is not the one I wanted. Still not the one I wanted. This can take a bit. I have accounted for this in my estimate when submitting the run.
What a lovely category.
There we go. So the reason I wanted my clone to end up where it is now is because I need it to stay loaded into the game when I come back to the editor, where I will be entering, clicking edit at the same time, and hopefully, yes, loading into the tutorial in editor mode. Now when I get back to the main nexus, you'll notice that I have no camera attached, and that is because I am able to enter the editor in the main nexus. Not intended. And now I can steal the final set of levels and place it down at the beginning. And just to show off another little thing, I will be attempting to save level here. It'll take a moment. Okay. I can rename this door to anything I want. I will choose to rename it to Temp Nexus, which is the nexus that was used for beta testing the DX patch for Dustforce. So entering here, you can see these are all the levels in the game in a line. I will not be using this for the run, as it would be very boring. Now I can get back to the speedrun, and I will be starting off with the hardest levels in the game.
What a good speedrun. So these are the difficult levels. They are so called because they're actually difficult. And because of the glitch, he's able to do these right at the beginning of the run, which is really nice because these are obviously the hardest levels of the run. So if you were like doing attempts for customers to exhibition, you would be able to reset more efficiently, because that's really what speedrun is about. This is, I believe, pixel perfect.
It's about 3 pixels. It's actually a lot easier if you play the game in full screen. I play the game in windowed. Apparently that gives me a handicap, but I'll take it.
This level is actually not very difficult.
Yeah, the developers were nice in designing these levels in that you can skip to the end in most of them. And what that means is that you can get access to the leaderboards and replays for levels once you beat them, which allows newer players to check out other people who have played through the level for help. That was unfortunate.
So already, if you're not familiar with Dustforce, he's using some pretty advanced techniques right off the bat. These are intended to be the hardest levels in the game that bring together all the stuff we've already learned. So we'll talk a lot about those techniques. Some of the stuff that he's saying is that he's jumping immediately off 45 degree slopes. Even if the slope has spikes on it, it's 45 degrees. That's called a spike jump.
It's actually heavily featured in this level here. as well as one of very few death warps in the game.
Yeah, that one, you just hit a trigger for that checkpoint, and then...
Oh,
Huh.
one of the downfalls of going too fast.
Speed points don't get you. Prevent you from beating Peta. This level features the Zeta slopes. Everyone loves these. Tell me about your feelings about Zeta slopes, Calistus.
I absolutely hate them. They ruin all of my runs, not even kidding. I believe it has actually come to the point where some any percent runners refer to messing up on Zeta in a speedrun as pulling a Calistus.
Lovely. So again, more spike jumps there. There's the use of the super, which gets him his air charge back, which allows him to either jump or dash in midair. And now the hardest level of the game. So while you are suitably impressed by this as he goes through it, we'll get there. It's fine. This trick is also
Soon.
pretty hard.
Oh dear.
He's trying to trigger a checkpoint slightly later in the level.
There we go.
It is. So the category that he's doing, video game glitch to any percent. Basically, this game has kind of two main speedrun modes that people do. One is called any percent all levels, and the other one's called SS all levels, where it's just based on how you complete each level. You can either complete the level just as fast as possible, which is any percent, or you can complete it with collecting all the dust and never dropping your combo, and that gets you in a rank of SS on the level. So those two categories exist, but in order to do any percent, you actually have to already have cleared all the levels so that you can actually access the difficulties, and for that matter, many of the stages of the game at all. Because doing an 80% clear of a level will most often not get you an SS rank. So, dang, my train of thought just died at the station. Watching that thoroughly legitimate blind drop strat.
Yep.
Anyway, so this category, he starts with a new game file, and then he does the glitch to be able to edit the nexus. By the way, this entire section of this level is insanely difficult. Even if you know speed strats, spike jumps, and things like that, it's still insanely hard.
This is not the hard part.
They're all hard to me, man. So in this category, he starts with a fresh file. That means he can't actually do 80% all stages. However, what he can do is he can edit the nexus. He can get access to these levels without having to SS every other level in the game. So it actually means he only needs to SS, what, like 48 levels?
It's more than that now because of the DX patch, but it's
Right.
all the levels except for 16 of them. That's an easier way to put it.
Right. So now we're doing the tutorials because we've already beaten the hardest levels in the game.
I would like to learn how to play the game at this point.
Agreed. This is definitely where you do that. So a technique that you'll see him do quite a lot during this run is called ground boosting. Is that what it's called?
Yep.
Why am I doubting that so much? I received a note from the tech station indicating that I should talk louder, so I will endeavor to do so. Anyway, ground boosting is a trick where you get to a certain height above the ground, as you just did there, and then down dash into the ground and land on the ground and immediately dash. And if you do that correctly, for some magical reason, it gets you a speed boost. I would love to know the difference mechanic behind that.
My basic understanding of it is that you gain a small amount of speed when you collide with the grounds, provided you do not ground pound, which is kind of, just inertia, I guess. And then when you dash, you get locked to that speed, and you can maintain it.
Which you will be seeing quite a lot on this level. So, this level features, coming up pretty soon, slopes. And dash at a consistent rate, he'll be able to maintain that speed. Suddenly, I'm very loud. The joys of technology.
Okay, here's where I will be assessing levels.
Right, so now we're onto the main Nexus and the main bulk of the game content. And so in order to SS the level, he needs to get an S rank for completion, which means collect all the dust, and also defeat all the enemies, wherever there are any. And he needs to also get an S rank for finesse, which means that he must not drop his combo. And that'll happen anytime he fails to collect dust for a period of time.
Oh my.
And also, anytime he gets hit by an enemy. And that dust is proving surprisingly reticent to being collected right now.
That was interesting.
We got a $50 donation from Ernick15. There was no comment left.
Thank you so much for your donation. So obviously, as he's going through the Nexus, you may recall that at the beginning he showed off the fact that he could have used he could have edited the Nexus door to point at the debug place where it's just a series of doors in a line. And it actually turns out the Nexus, like the real one, is pretty interesting in terms of optimization just in and of itself, even compared to like the actual levels that you play. So there are some occasions where you'll want to have a particular character after you complete a particular level in order to get through the Nexus more efficiently. Although I don't actually know how many times you guys take advantage of that in the run at this point.
It's not too many, but it's pretty apparent when we're doing so. Because there are certain characters, like Dust Kid, that we prefer, well, at least I prefer not to use. We have
Best
some
Kid
runners who
for
enjoy
Best
Dust Kid.
Kid 2016.
Definitely disagreed.
We also got a $7 donation from TSM Quib Dilly, who also left no comment. Thank you.
I do know who that is. Thank you very much.
So obviously you saw just a moment ago he restarted the level because he missed dust and fell a very long distance. He was not going to be able to get back up to collect that dust before his combo dropped off.
I don't think it's actually possible to get back up and collect it at all.
That's a good reason why it might take you slightly longer than is actually possible. I'm so happy about the super sprite. It's a great emote.
Oh my gosh. This is why I don't play Dust Kids. It's terrible.
This actually has seemed to me like one of the most frustrating of the newer levels in Dustforce DX.
Absolutely. I think it's to the point where it's a joke in the community to complain about Dahlia at that level.
So here's another level with a fair number of slopes and slope boosting. Which again is just down dashing into a slope and then saving the momentum by chaining your regular dashes. You can also see he's using a lot of his broom attacks, the light and heavy attacks both, in order to clear out dust more efficiently. You don't always have to run over the dust in order to clean it off. You can always just swing your broom or puff your vacuum or whatever it is exactly that Dustworth does.
Monui donated $10. Says, here's a $10 donation for the inclusion of Dustforce, the world's most frustrating sweeping simulator. Thanks for the commentary.
Agreed. I can't think of a sweeping simulator I've played that has been more frustrating than Dustforce. Or at all. It's so easy to get lulled into just like watching and listening to this game. The music is fantastic, made by Lifeformed, I believe. And God, it's just so good. It fits the game like so well.
Interesting.
You got this. You're good. See? No problem. So, I think one of the coolest things about Dustforce as a precision platformer is that there's so much recoverability, even when something like almost catastrophic happens. You can really recover by combining like the ability to air dash, the ability to air dash or air jump, the ability to use your attacks on enemies to maintain your height, the ability to wall run up walls and then potentially jump off those and just chain together different sorts of techniques to eventually make your way back onto ground, or just to go fast in general.
We also got $10 from Sideshow Dave, who says, "Backup shift SS Hypu."
Oh, unfortunately, I will not be assessing that level as part of this run.
You could do it anyway.
I could. I mean,
I mean, we got $10 for it.
10 entire dollarinos.
I'll probably ask how close I am to my estimate at that point, and I'll see how I feel about it.
So this level features a lot of like loops. Tell me, Calistus, how do you feel about these loops?
I don't like them. They're so terrible. There's a way that I think the devs wanted them to work. They wanted them to be fun, but I don't enjoy them.
Hey team, can we get an update on the name of the category, the specific name, so we can update it on the stream?
This is new game any % glitched.
New game, 80% glitched.
As it turns out, there's actually not that many like real glitches in Dustforce. The level editor shenanigans that Calistus did at the beginning are kind of like the biggest glitch that I'm aware of in this game, although I'm sure there are more that aren't really speedrun applicable that I haven't heard about.
There are variations on the glitch that I was using within the editor glitch, which was the death warp glitch out of the tutorial, where if you do it on different frames, you can get different effects out of it. Most notably, besides cloning, is you can exit on a frame where you soft lock the game and you have to restart. Not quite as useful.
It's great for speedruns.
Absolutely.
Actually, there used to be a glitch which could have been used in fact, was used in certain marathon categories of this game, called the finesse glitch. That was actually removed in the Dustforce DX patch. But the basic concept was by finishing the level in a certain way, even without getting, that is to say, even without keeping your combo for the entire level, you could still get an credit for an S finesse rank. And as such, you could get an SS on the level even though you didn't actually complete the requirements to SS. And there was a category that allowed that to be used to do all levels SS, because as it turns out, it's really freaking hard to complete every level first try, collecting all the dust without dropping your combo. So that speedrunning SS all levels in Dustforce DX is insanely hard.
Oh yeah. Unfortunately, dropping a ground boost means that there's no incentive for me to keep dash rhythm anymore, so it's just a walk of shame at that point.
Yeah, dash.
Oh, whoa! All right.
Start menu. Hi.
Let's see if that fixes it.
And waving of hands.
So here, something that he was just doing on those gargoyles was that he was using a down heavy intentionally instead of like an upwards aimed heavy attack. And the reason is that if he kills those gargoyles with a heavy attack, it spreads dust if there's a surface within like range. But because he used the down heavy, there was no surface below them, so it didn't spread any extra dust. And it just makes it easier for him to continue going, because if you spread dust by killing an enemy, you do have to collect that dust to get your SS. You can't just skip it.
Well, that worked. Cool.
Were you doubting?
I always doubt that.
Yes, the rhythm on hitting those light attacks to get all the dust on that wall is slightly awkward. Also, books are gigantic jerks.
Yeah, I don't even try to do anything fast with the books because it's just not worth the risk, in my opinion. There are people who are actually good at this game who really go for it. Well,
So as I was just mentioning, the heavy attacks cause dust to spread from enemies that you kill, but light attacks don't have that effect. So if you light attack an enemy, you can move on with impunity. But the trade-off is, of course, most enemies won't die to one light attack.
that is really interesting. What? The escape key? It's just the escape key. I actually don't understand why it's doing that.
Does it think something's locked down?
I don't know.
Just press either your control keys on the keyboard and that should clear it.
Okay. Let me try that. No, that's not working. Well, all right.
Just don't press your left hand down too hard, and you're fine.
I'm not pressing the button, I swear.
Like, I would imagine pressing control escape on the left control should clear it.
Control and escape at the same time.
Yeah. And then hit escape afterwards.
After that, should be fine.
Oh.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, Windows 10.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Problem solved. Ladies
still
and
playing
gentlemen,
Windows 10?
keyboards. Oh, man. Reminder that PC is the master race. So,
There we go.
as Calistus is progressing through the levels, I'll just touch back on the category requirement and the different types of keys. So,
Huh.
what just happened in your brain?
I need to take care of some business after I get through the mansion. Might dawn on you what's happened.
I am missing it, but it's fine. We'll catch up at some point.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Actually, tell you what. I'll make this interesting. I'll go through... No, actually, I'll go back for it. Doesn't matter. Now, do you know what I'm talking about?
We'll pretend that I do.
All right,
Yeah.
sounds good.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
Oh boy.
I'll just continue the commentary as though nothing happened.
That sounds good.
So, remember that at the beginning of the run, Calistus was able to do the difficult levels because of the Nexus editing. Normally, in order to access the difficulties, you need 16 red keys, which are obtained by beating the gold key levels. That is to say, the levels that are behind doors requiring gold keys in each section of the game. And in order to get to the gold key levels, of course, you have to acquire the gold keys, which the level is giving you the gold keys are behind silver key doors. And the levers giving you the silver keys are behind bronze key doors.
Wood key doors.
Wood key doors. They're wood,
Very
apparently.
controversial, but that's how they are labeled in the game files.
I am not super impressed by keys made out of wood. They seem rather prone to breakage, but whatever, it's fine anyway. So you have to complete the levels that give you the wood keys, and you have to complete in order to be able to get to, the wood key levels. And then you have to complete those in order to get the silver keys, so you can complete the silver key levels, and then you can get the gold keys to get to the gold key levels. But because he's already beaten the difficulty, he does not need to get an SS rank in the gold key levels because he does not care about the keys in those levels. So the end result is, in this category, he can SS every level except the gold key levels. Let's go with that. And he can also not SS the difficulties. So it's kind of like a halfway between an SS all levels and an 80% all levels, but it just kind of has a little bit of both. So it's pretty neat to watch in that regard. And of course, it has a really wacky glitch that is really kind of odd and nobody understands apparently.
Unfortunately, I'm confusing the any percent and SS strategy for this level, and as a result, I'm making this a lot more difficult than it needs to be. But I'm getting through it.
This is one of the few levels actually that does not have a checkpoint anywhere in the level.
Right. Oh dear. It's not what you want.
Ghost parapets.
If you enjoyed the music in this game, you'll love this level.
Is it the only silent level?
I believe that's correct.
I'm gonna see if
Well-
I can add this song to the playlist.
Yeah, actually, that's entirely true because even Yada has a checkpoint at the end with a music trigger.
Ghost parapets is actually pretty neat, but it's also kind of a pain to play and to optimize. And obviously, if you make any platforming mistakes here, you do just fall to your death immediately. Also, in that level, it's really, really extra apparent how different like any percent strats are from SS strats, because he skipped basically the entire level.
Oh boy. Backup strats for this level. How about that?
Yeah,
They
who would
don't
have
exist.
imagined not getting this level first try?
Well, I'll take it. Didn't have to reset, and that's good enough for me.
Yeah, so there are a couple of those arena-like levels where there are just enemies to face, and that's the whole level. Excuse me. Incidentally, that was another kind of checkpoint skip type thing, similar to the one used at the beginning of Yada.
The interesting thing about this one compared to the other death warps is that the death zone actually extends really far down towards where the checkpoint is, and that means that you need to get the first checkpoint, or else the death fade from respawning at the start of the level is actually too short for you to get the checkpoint. And now it should become entirely apparent what I've forgotten to do. The entire forest.
I thought it might be that you neglected some key levels, but I
Most
wasn't
of them.
100% sure. You just skipped like half a forest. Oh man.
It's okay. I haven't planned for this because missing half the game is not something I planned for, but there is a way to recover from this and not lose too much time.
I look forward to it.
That's, of course, assuming I get it because I, again, did not plan for this. I would make an excuse about confusing any percent in SS categories, but that's just not a thing.
Well, you know, it's the new route meta, really. Like, this is where it's at now. Is skipping half of forest and moving on to mansion. So yeah, since this is basically an individual level-based game, there's not really any like incentive to do levels substantially out of order, other than just, you know, whatever the fastest way to platform between levels is. But you don't have any incentive to actually do something like go do half of mansion and then come back and do forest. You just really want to go to what's faster. I mean, personally, I blame the lack of sleep, because I know I'm tired.
Yeah. Let's go with that.
Sounds good.
I probably don't have any other excuse for it, so. Well, it spices the run up a little bit, I guess. Put it that way.
Like I said, man, it's the new meta.
Oh, you know what? I can't do the thing that I was planning to do to make up time,
Oh.
but might do it anyway. Might be fun. Might lose, you know, maybe 3 or 4 seconds. I'll take it.
So something important that Calistus and I have learned via this level tonight is that they actually have patched left heavies out of the game. We didn't realize this until like today, right before his run. So it's pretty rough, but I'm sure he'll come up with a suitable backup strat.
It's right up here. We'll see how this goes. Oh dear.
Maybe there's like a
left wall climbs. Oh dear. Oh god.
left heavy's impossible, dude. It's not in the game anymore. That's all there is to it.
You just gotta love game patches.
Just to be perfectly clear, I'm being quite sarcastic. Left heavy was not patched out of the game.
But the left wall climb was patched out, right?
Yes,
Yes.
that was definitely patched out for sure.
Yeah, just making sure.
So this game has a pretty good progression of kind of skill level required from the tutorials onto the difficulties. It is a very steep curve, but they give you like opportunities to kind of like each level allows you to kind of, you know, hone a particular skill or set of skills. Like this one allows you to figure out why Dust Kid sucks so much.
Absolutely.
Spoiler, she sucks a lot. But yeah, basically the zones are kind of ordered in like the order forest, mansion, city, and lab. But also kind of within those areas, there's like kind of a gradient of skill levels required. And there's some overlap between areas as well. So you really get a lot of opportunity to kind of progress from I have no actual clue what I'm doing to, well, I actually am capable of like assessing a challenging level like this one. And then eventually, you know, you can get to the point of assessing even harder ones, and then you get to the difficulties, and then it's an entirely separate set of learning. But overall, it's a very well-paced game, especially in the DX version.
I'm really dropping the ball today.
I do not remember the last time I saw you short that.
Yeah. All right, let's have some fun with this. Oh, let's see if now I've made a huge mistake. Yeah.
Are you really? Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
All the time save, dude.
This is quite honestly embarrassing.
I enjoyed that. That was worth it. So as it turns out, the vacant lot is not quite vacant.
Indeed.
Park. So I think this is really the first level in kind of the intended progression that really teaches you how to use slope boosts, kind of whether you like it or not, you're going to end up slope boosting.
Yep. It's really, really difficult to maintain your combo in this level if you don't slope boost at all. In fact, I would say it's harder to figure out a method where you don't have to boost than it is to actually boost a tiny, tiny bit.
Yeah, I mean, even just by accident, you'll probably slow boost in this level. And as a result, you know, you learn, like, you're just taught a brand new tactic probably by this point in the game. And then you can go back to other levels and apply it. Which is really the entire kind of, like, point of this game, is just to progress your knowledge of the game and get better and better. It's not really, like, a traditional, like, adventure type of game or anything like that.
I've done that too early. Let's find out. Yeah.
Ah. So the level end trigger that allows you to move on is always killing certain enemies. And the problem in this level that you just saw is that he killed the enemies that were required to trigger the end of the level before his super was in range to actually clear all the dust. So he didn't get credit for everything that he needed.
Okay. As Villagin mentions, there are lots of opportunities for backup strats. So even if it looks like I know what I'm doing, there are a lot of times where I actually don't mean to do that at all.
I think this level, has the greatest ratio of difference between the any percent strat and the SS strat. Because in any percent, you literally just drop to the bottom and attack that one turkey.
Yep.
In SS, you have to dance around those stupid boxes, and it's really pretty tedious.
I think it's one of 2 levels where the individual level world record is actually tied with the tool-assisted world record. It's just that short.
Yep, it's pretty much just go slightly right, fall fast, and hit thing.
There are actually some interesting things about it, such as you need to make sure you don't get close to the wall on the right, or it will suck you in ever so slightly and kill your speed, which might not occur to you if you're just trying to grind it out for fun.
Yeah, the level of difference between, like, a casual Dustforce player and a speedrunner in terms of knowledge of that sort of thing and capability to even take advantage of that sort of thing is pretty massive. Like, you know, me as a pretty casual player of this game, I've SS'd most of the regular levels and haven't gotten to even play the difficulties.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
I had never gotten around to, there's 4 levels I haven't SS'd yet, but, you know, from my perspective, like, I would never even be able to notice, like, anything like what you just described in construction site. But that's part of the fun of it, is you can really take this game to an extremely high level. And like the top runners of this game have actually just put thousands of hours into it. And it is really fun to play, other than how much speedrunning it makes you hate yourself.
Yep. I put 2,300 hours into it. I'm still terrible at it, but it's still pretty fun. Oops.
Someday I will have to get back around to assessing those last 4 levels.
Agreed.
And I guess the new DX levels as well. But as it turns out, Lab has some pretty hard levels.
Yes.
And you guys will see those in a little bit.
And depending on what time I'm at, I may or may not assess backup shift for fun, as per the donation.
Which is something that I have not done myself.
Part of the reason I submitted this glitch category is because it is much more marathon safe, since I don't have to SS levels, such as backup shift.
Yeah, having to SS, I mean, really, any of the difficulties is already pretty ridiculous. But then adding on top of it the 16 gold key levels, which are not as difficult to SS as most of the difficulties, just it's a lot of things to all have to SS in one marathon run.
Okay, I appear to have entered this level as the wrong character, and it'll still be faster for me to do slow strats than it will be for me to exit out and restart, now that I've realized my mistake.
For the most part, I think it's the case that all levels are fairly viable with, like, all characters, right? Just,
Well,
I mean, not
quite.
necessarily in terms of pure speed.
I seem to have made another significant mistake, but I saved it.
Dude, you're fine. Everything's fine. But in terms of, like, completing the level with an SS, possibly.
I think most notably, Dust Kid cannot do hideout without using either a pixel perfect stand on spikes or a spike jump off of one tile, which is wedged into a corner.
Interesting.
So that's a case where they definitely did not have the other characters in mind.
That's very interesting. That I did not know.
Oh, okay.
I guess what he's really saying is Dust Kid sucks, don't use Dust Kid.
That's always the takeaway.
If we have a donation incentive for you to do hideout as Dust Kid, I will, like... I will donate many dollars.
I could probably do it if I get past the first checkpoint. That's really the hardest part. I believe you really like this level.
Oh, I love Clock Tower. Clock Tower is great. How do you feel about Clock Tower, Calistus?
I have started enjoying it more, but I think it's still pretty bad.
So Clock Tower is another level that does not have checkpoints. And it's... I mean, it's covered in spikes. It's pretty challenging.
I forgot to use my safety strat at the end, so it's a miracle that I didn't die.
Didn't use safety strat, still got it first try. No problem. So each area has a temple level. There's Night Temple and Moon Temple and Concrete Temple and Core Temple. And all these levels are really, like, well designed and also fairly lengthy. These are some of the lengthiest levels in general. But they all have some pretty neat stuff involved in them. So this one I really like some of the use of slopes and large gaps to cross, or here for example, large gap, but also large vertical distances to travel, like here. So how many pixels do you have to do that spike stand that you just did?
It's about 5 or 7, I think.
So that one in particular on the corner of that platform is a little more forgiving than you can actually stand on, I believe it's the edge of a horizontal platform with spikes. You can stand on the last pixel.
I think we've actually found that it's a little more lenient depending on which direction the platform is facing.
Okay.
Because there are actually a lot of inequalities in moving left and right in this game and how things behave.
Now we're on the hideout. What a great level.
If I can get this deathless, I'd be happy. If I can't, well, I wouldn't be surprised.
So yeah, as you see, this level features a ton of one-tile platforms, and everything else is spikes forever. So it's pretty challenging. This is a wall for a lot of like casual players who actually stick with the game a fair bit. Like they get to this point, and this is like getting an SS in hideout is very challenging. This I think took me 7 hours just to SS this one level.
Wow.
That was pretty good. There you go, first try.
Way better than I expected, honestly. Getting a sub 33 on that was not even close to what I expected.
Not just first try, but very fast, and you are now 2 for 2 getting first try hideout in marathon runs. Actually, I guess I have no recollection how like your online marathon runs have done, but there's no count. They aren't live. So now we're on the lab, and we are working on the wood key, silver key, and gold key levels. And of course the wood key and, well, the unlocked and wood key and silver key levels all, of course, need to be SS'd. So we'll be getting to see some more of that.
Pretty common theme in the lab levels is strategically avoiding enemies and then clearing them with a super from further on in the level. Getting into the door is pretty hard.
Yo, more loops. Yes.
They're actually pretty fun in this level, apart from the fact that you get stopped by a perfectly vertical wall at the end of most of them.
Just gotta play better, dude.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't involve the left heavy, which, as we know, is patched out.
Huh. Thought I was too far away for that.
You gotta believe, man.
Gosh.
There's a ton of little bits of movement tech that are kind of coming up in some of these levels that we haven't really talked about because they're so subtle and hard to even see that even if I told you about some of these things, like you wouldn't even be able to notice them without watching, a couple more Dustforce runs at least. One in particular that came to mind while I was doing the previous level is actually he just did one there, which is the actually don't know what you guys call it with the wall climbing over a corner.
Ledge canceling.
Ledge cancel, yes, thank you. Where basically you wall run up the side of a ledge, and then as you vault the corner, you down dash into the ground, and it allows you to start moving to the right or left a little faster. And you know, for every time you do it, it saves like, you know, each one saves some tiny amount of time, but overall, the overall effect is pretty significant.
I think it's actually about a quarter of a second each time, so that becomes massive across an entire run, which is, you know, multiple edge cancels per level.
Yeah, and I mean, especially if you're going for like an individual level like time, those are hyper contested, and every quarter second, I mean, every frame is going to count. So yeah. So another technique that you just used there is the ceiling thing.
I've gotten in trouble for calling that a ceiling boost, so I won't call it that.
I'm
but
gonna call it a ceiling boost. I can't
Okay.
get in trouble. I'm above your puny language, something, whatever. Ceiling run speed technique. Yeah, we'll go with that. But basically, as you're running up a wall, if there's a sloped ceiling, you'll kind of slide along it, and if you jump at the same time that you get to the kind of joint, you will get a little boost. I told you, man, left heavy.
Could I check what time I'm at right now?
Hey, current time is at 51:13.
Do it.
Yeah, all right.
Do the thing.
You've convinced me.
You don't have difficulties after this, so you're fine, like, on time.
You say that.
I do say that. Fun little random fact. In the original version of this game, dear God, I thought you were about to slide into spikes. In the original version of this game, this level had some glitched dust, maybe would be fair to call
It was an interesting interaction with the dust blocks at the end of the level, which you will see shortly, where they were not counting towards the dust total, meaning that you could skip the equivalent amount of dust throughout the level.
I see. So they fixed that in DX, so now you do have to collect all the dust, and here's the hardest level to get to in the game.
I'm going to try to assess it.
All right.
If it goes wrong, I think I'll just keep going, but I'll give it a shot. I'll even do it the safe way so I can actually try to get it. So there is a strategy where you super in this tunnel, but it's rather precise and I've had a lot of practice with it.
So just to be clear, outside of the difficulties, this is one of the 4 hardest levels in the game. So assessing this is pretty challenging.
If you haven't played the game before, you probably didn't notice, but the tunnel at the top, the reason that is difficult is because you gain a small amount of height every time you attack an enemy. So what that means is that you need to very carefully manage your height going through, as the corners are deceptively large.
That was extremely nice, dude.
I'll go ahead and actually say it, but I only just learned that strategy about 5 minutes before the run.
I was watching him practice it, and he ended up coming up with backup strats because that requires pretty specific timing, and so he came up with some backup strats that it looked like he was just going to do the backup strats, and instead he just got the real thing. Oops. Also, that was a very nice recovery there. Again, part of the beauty of this game
Yep.
is that a lot of recoveries are possible, and for that matter, like a lot of like you can kind of make your own strats a lot in this game.
Mhm.
And a lot of runners do tend to do that, like not necessarily reinventing the wheel from scratch every time, but putting their own spin on whatever the prevailing wisdom is, and that actually results in a lot of improvements pretty regularly to different levels in this game. That's one of the coolest things about this game, is that there's never like a definite, obvious fastest thing.
Huh. It looked like I didn't get that, but I actually did get that boost. I have never actually experienced that before. Obligatory marathon.
That's never happened before. Ah, yes. This level, the any percent strat has a fun little clip near the end. There's actually not super many of those. You've definitely seen some before in, I believe, Yada and
Grass cave.
Grass
probably.
Cave. There we go. There's not a huge number of those, but there's a couple in pretty cool places. One of the few like glitches, if you can call it that, in this game.
So there I just need to hit the ceiling and die because there's a checkpoint that extends below the ceiling.
This.
Actually use safety strats there. There's a hole that you can just fall through. But
I was kind of hoping you were going to try it.
yeah, I actually found that how you execute the heavies at the end is a much bigger influence on your final time than where you drop down through. Okay.
What a video game.
Face plant into spikes to go fast. That's my motto.
Just manipulating RNG.
And this is going to be the final level in the run for me.
Of course, you can see here quite a lot of spike jumps in these areas with spikes, because, I mean, why would you do anything else with spikes but jump on them?
Time will
Alright.
be coming up at the end of this super. And time.
End time of 57:13.
For
Good job.
assessing backup shift and forgetting forest, that's pretty good.
Nice job, dude.
Good
Thank
job,
you.
Callistus. Good job.
That was very nice.
Thank you very much for the commentary.
You're very welcome.
All right.
Always enjoy participating in Dustforce around. What a lovely video game. Go play it if you haven't. Frankercy.
Okay. Up next, we have Guacamele Gold Edition. Any percent one player, one controller. Really? By Turbo Dog 702.
There is a one-player, two controller, just for reference.
I just had to make sure I had that correct. Yeah, and while we set that up, we will be playing some ads. So thank you again, Calistus. Thank you again, Voligen, for the commentary. And we'll see you guys in a little bit.
What a stupid